Hey, Nicole.
Hi, Samantha. How do you
So,
like my background?
so I guess let me introduce myself. My name's Samantha. I am the branch manager over in the Clear Lake office, and we've got Nicole with us. Nicole, what are you doing in your car?
Yes, I'm Nicole Puerta, the branch manager at the Woodlands. We've been having some internet difficulty in our building, so I had to go to my car to get good reception. So you got to do what you got to do when I'm here.
Well, that's what we do. We adapt and we make things work. So today we are going to be going over some things, what you can expect when applying with Meador Staffing and just some, agencies in general. But overall with us, when you come to Meador Staffing, you do not have to pay fees for our services. That is not, our applicants and or employees do not have to pay for our services. Nicole, do you want to share with everybody how they can apply with us?
Yes. The first thing you can do is definitely go to our website, www.meador.com. Now, if you do find us on Indeed or any other types of social media, you will still have to go to our website. But we'll tell you when you go to Indeed, we'll let you know, hey, go fill out an application at meador.com. When you do get there and fill out the application, make sure all the fields are completed because that helps us and it also helps you. Make sure you have your work history, your resume, education skills, pay rate, preference of shift. And Samantha will go into more about the application process, but that's a big must. Make sure everything is filled out because that's what we look at. So Samantha, you can kind of let them know about the application process and how we get to the interview.
Sure. So when you're applying with us, you will do it online and you have two options. You can either search and apply directly through a job or on our website. We'll go ahead and put that in the chat as well. But through our website, there's a button that says apply now. You can click on that on the home screen and that'll take you to the actual application. As you're filling out that application, like Nicole said, you want to make sure you put all of the relevant information, job experience, your resume, where you actually live. That's one thing that's very important. Some people use a PO box or they have a different mailing address. Make sure you use your actual residence. That assists us when we're looking for applicants within our database. Now, once you've completed that application, one of our office coordinators, they will reach out to you and they'll take you through the next steps. Oftentimes it's done via email, and the next steps can include basic skills testing, if it's needed, as well as scheduling the interview with the staffing consultant. Right now, we are doing our interviews virtually, and we have several different platforms that we can do these interviews on. And when you schedule your interview, we'll go through that process with you and explain which ones we have available and just try to accommodate you, the applicant, as much as possible on that platform. Now, in regards to the actual interview, you want to make sure that although it's virtual, it's still an interview, and you want to put your best foot forward during that interview when you're meeting with the staffing consultant. Make sure that you are dressed appropriately and that you're in a quiet place so that they can hear you and you can hear them. The staffing consultant, it will be a full-fledged interview. So they will be asking you questions in regards to your experience, your expectations, what you're currently doing in your active job search. Oftentimes people come to us, they're using multiple agencies, they are searching on their own. This is all stuff that we need that builds that relationship so that we can best help you and represent you. As you're wrapping up your interview, there may be some other things that are needed during that as part of your application, and that could be background checks and professional references. Those aren't always done at the time of the interview. Those can sometimes be done at a later date, but just be aware that you will at some point most likely be asked to provide that information. Now, you only need to create a profile with us once, but you definitely want to make sure that you keep that updated. Nicole, can you tell people, when do they start working? How does that process work? Oh, I think we lost her. Are you there? Okay, so I think there's a freeze on there, so we'll see if we can get her back. Okay, so okay, so it looks like we're not really able to hear her. Nicole, if you can hear me, maybe try resetting, see if you can get back in. Like, it seems like we've lost the connection with Nicole. Technical difficulties, it's what happens sometimes, so we'll just need to adapt. Let's go ahead. How soon can you start working after your application? Well, that's all going to depend on the jobs you have available. You have several different branches, so you don't always, just because you apply with one office does not mean that you're required to work through a specific office. So if we don't have anything right now, you would then, your information is in our database. We'll be able to search your information. Okay, sorry, technical difficulties. Okay, so we'll be able to search your information in our database as well as our availability line. As we are looking and searching through our database from our applicants, staffing consultant will reach out to you and they'll discuss the positions we have available based on your experience and the client's requirements. Now, that may mean that the interview process is a direct send where you could go right to work, or you could have to do an interview with the client directly as well. So it doesn't, there's no specific, oh, you're going to get a job today or you'll get a job tomorrow. It just depends on what we're working on and what our client has set for us. In regards to contacting us, you definitely want to stay in contact with the staffing agency. Meador Staffing, we ask that about once a week you give us a call. We have an availability line and we can put that number in the chat field for you. What we do with that is that information, once you call into there, it'll ask you for your name, phone number, the type of work you're looking for, the pay range that you're interested in. And that information gets recorded daily and distributed to all of our staffing consultants throughout all of our branches. So calling that number gets you, pretty much gets your name and information in front of all of our consultants, not just the one that you initially interviewed with. Now, as we get those positions and we start talking to you about positions we have available, we'll then discuss just in detail what that position is. And if it's not something that you're interested in, then just have that conversation with your staffing consultant, okay? I'm sorry, we're still working on our technical difficulties. So bear with me. So in regards to, I'm sorry, where did I leave off at? The availability line and the positions that we have. So that's one of the first places that we go when we're looking for applicants. Now, that's not the only way that you can reach out to us. We do post our positions on our website. They are changing daily. And in those positions when they're posted, it states how you can reach out to the specific recruiter that's working on that position. Since each office works within a different area, you want to make sure that you're contacting the consultant that's working on that specific position. You can either do that by calling them, emailing them, or applying directly online with us. So now you've applied for the position, you've got an interview, and maybe you have an interview or you don't have an interview, but you're interested in it. You're talking to the staffing consultant. The staffing consultant, you guys realize that, you know what, you're not interested in it. You don't have to accept that position, okay? We want you to be open and honest with us. If it's not something you're interested in, that's fine. Continue to apply, continue to communicate, and we'll do our best to help you find something that you are interested in. But I think each assignment that we have, like I said, they're different time frames. Some of them are short term, some of them are for a couple hours, reception coverage, labor, just different types of things, different variations. So there's short term, long term, temporary, temp to hire. They can be anywhere, like I said, a few days, a few hours, a few months. It just depends on what the client's needs are. So oftentimes we have some temporary positions that we may offer while we're in the search for your long-term position. Questions from the chat. What level or type of communication should you expect from a recruiter? That, I guess, is depending on what you're looking for. So our communication, we try to give you as much information as we have at the time when you call. When we have a position, we'll disclose everything to you. Now, we don't necessarily reach out to everybody that's in our database because that can be a little bit daunting at times, but we definitely, this is why we ask you to call our availability line and to apply for the job specifically. This helps us find you and it lets us present you better. If we know that you're actively looking, we don't always have the ability to call every single person that applies for every single position. We do our best. But overall, what we do is we try to look at the applicants that have the requirements that the client has asked for and contact them in regards to the position. Now, when you say what qualifies me for the position, typically our clients are looking for 18 to 24 months of a specific experience recently. So if you are doing payables and you're like, oh, I want to be a billing specialist, it may be a little bit difficult to make that switch, but I definitely encourage you to apply. But if the client's specific requirements are, no, they have to have this much time doing this position, it may take us a little bit longer to get back to you. Anything